Have you ever really thought about what it takes to get a package to your front door? I mean, that very last little journey from a local warehouse to you. Well, it turns out that's actually the single most complicated and expensive part of the whole thing. So we're going to break down this last mile problem and look at a brilliantly simple new solution that could honestly change everything. So let's start with a number that might just blow your mind. 28%. A full 28% of the total shipping cost comes from just that final step, the last mile. That is a massive slice of the pie, and it's exactly why this is such a huge challenge in modern logistics. So the multi-billion-dollar question is pretty obvious, right? How do you make that last step cheaper and way more efficient? Well, a team of researchers from UC Berkeley came up with a really fresh approach, and its genius is in how incredibly simple it is. To really get why this new solution is so great, we've got to first understand the old one. For decades, companies have been relying on the same basic model, a whole fleet of their own delivery vans. Every single morning, logistics managers wake up to this massive puzzle. It's called the capacitated vehicle routing problem, or CVRP. I mean, just try to imagine mapping out the most efficient routes for hundreds of vans, each with limited space, by the way, to deliver thousands of packages. It's an insanely complex calculation they have to nail every single day. And, this traditional system comes with some major headaches. First, you've got the super high fixed costs of just owning and maintaining that huge fleet. Then, that daily routing puzzle is a massive drain on computing power. And maybe worst of all, the whole model is just rigid. It can't easily scale up for big spikes in demand, like around the holidays. So what's the new idea from these Berkeley researchers? Well, instead of just throwing out the old system completely, they came up with this clever hybrid model, one that keeps the reliable company vans but adds a brand new, really flexible element. And the core idea? It is beautifully simple. A company keeps a smaller, core fleet of its own vans. But then, to handle the rest of the deliveries, it opens things up to gig economy drivers. Yeah? Think about people already out on the road for services like Uber or DoorDash, to just swing by, pick up, and deliver packages. So here's how a typical day would work in a system like this. In the morning, the warehouse does one single, simple calculation. We'll get to what that is in a minute. This basically opens up a window of time where private drivers can stop by and grab packages. And then at the end of that window, the company's own vans roll out to deliver whatever is left over. Easy. And when you put these two models side by side, the advantages just jump out at you. The hybrid model slashes those fixed costs because you just don't need as many company vans. And it totally replaces that complex daily rerouting nightmare with a single, simple pricing decision for the whole day. What you end up with is a system that's cheaper, way more flexible, and just a lot easier to manage. But wait, I know what you're thinking. How do you stop this from just becoming total chaos? I mean, if you just open your warehouse doors to a bunch of random independent drivers, how do you make sure all the packages actually get picked up efficiently? Well, this is where the real genius comes in. This was the crucial puzzle the researchers had to solve, right? You can't micromanage hundreds of gig drivers. You need a system that basically just runs itself. Their solution is this elegant three-step process. Okay, so first, they use a classic algorithm to solve the traveling salesman problem. This basically finds the single most efficient path to connect all the delivery addresses, turning a messy 2D map into a simple 1D line. Second, they imagine that line of packages is connected from end to end, kind of like a necklace or a loop. And third, and this is the magic trick, they set one single price that makes every single package on that necklace equally valuable for a driver to pick up. And the key insight here is that once every package is equally desirable, you don't have to manage where they go anymore. A driver picking up 3 packages from one part of the necklace is just as helpful as a driver picking up 3 packages from a totally different part. The system just removes all the complexity of individual destinations. So how do you actually predict how many packages will get picked up? Well, the researchers used a model that's based on this classic math puzzle about cars parking randomly on a street. It's called discrete sequential packing. And by applying that same logic to their necklace of packages, they can accurately predict the total number of packages that will be claimed by drivers, all without ever needing to know who the drivers are or which specific packages they'll end up taking. It's pretty cool. So, after all this clever math, what's the big payoff? I mean, what are the real-world benefits of a hybrid system like this?
Well, the payoff is huge. You need fewer expensive vans, which means massive cost savings. The daily logistics puzzle goes from being incredibly complex to computationally simple. It's also super flexible for drivers, who are free to just grab bundles of packages that work for them. And the research proves it. This strategy is just flat out more cost effective than the old van-only system.
And this, for me, is the most elegant part. The entire complex dance of daily deliveries, it all just boils down to finding one optimal number each morning, the perfect incentive rate to offer drivers. That single number balances the cost and makes sure enough packages get picked up, making the entire system work. So, what's the big takeaway here? This isn't just some clever academic exercise. By blending classic math with modern gig economics, this model offers a powerful new blueprint for urban delivery. Seriously, the next time a package arrives at your door, it might just be thanks to a system like this one. Which leaves us with a bigger question, right? What other complex problems could we solve by making them this beautifully simple?